I'm Anton from Bulgaria, and we will continue our awesome JUnit tutorial for beginners. Let me share my screen. Until now, we discussed various topics from why you should care about unit, how to set it up. We talked about the various annotations, assertions, how to run data-driven tests. In the last video, we talked about parallel execution with JUnit. And now the time has come to talk about how you can run your tests in parallel in the cloud using many different browsers. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the ring bell so that you are notified about many awesome videos that we have right now in the Lambda test channel. Also, check the Lambda test blog where you will find many awesome articles about JUnit together with Selenium. And also keep in mind that all of the examples that I'm showing you here, you can find them below in a special GitHub repository where you can clone it for free and play with all of the examples. If you have any issues, you can put a comment below the video or write me in LinkedIn or raise an issue on GitHub. So without further ado, let's continue with the cross-browser testing. In the last video, I showed you how we were able to run tests in parallel using JUnit. We were capable of doing this when here in the resources, when you enable these settings, parallel enabled, mode default, class default, etc. Before talking about cross-browser testing, let me explain what this is. And I will give you like a walkthrough of the Lambda test platform. But before that, as you know, when you type Selenium, not this, Selenium dev. When you go to Selenium dev, you will find the three different tools. The Selenium WebDriver, that is basically the programming interface for the library for interacting with browsers. Selenium IDE, which is extension for Chrome and Firefox for really fast automating some stuff and generating code. And we have the Selenium Grid. Selenium Grid, we use it not for parallel testing, but for distributing tests among different machines. And in order to distribute it, you basically mention which platform you want, which browser, and then the grid is responsible for figuring out on which machine you have the combination between operating system and specific browser version and type. However, in order to handle all of this infrastructure, it requires, of course, the hardware, the maintenance, and all of that. In order to not have this burden, we have platforms like Lambda Test. Lambda Test is one of the greatest platforms for cross-browser testing, where it's basically Selenium Grid in the cloud, or even you can run Appium tests. And you have the dashboard. As I said, in a minute, I'm going to show you how you can run your tests here. You have statistics and filters by tags and everything. You have LT browser, which means it's a desktop application where you can run and test your Android applications on different emulators here directly. Also, you have the real browser where the platform will bring a real operating system with real browsers. As you can see there, all of the different browsers with many different versions, different operating system, different resolutions. If you need to check the responsiveness of your website, this is really great. Also, you can check it on mobile resolutions, and also you can bring a VPN tunnel to your specific local environment to check it out. By the way, we're using on a daily basis in one of our enterprise projects this capability with sharing files and internal websites, running them directly in the platform, and it's working great. Also, you have the visual testing where you can compare different screenshots of your website. But maybe the greatest thing that I'm using on a daily basis is, as I said, the capability of you running your tests in the cloud directly here, mentioning the different versions of the browsers with different resolutions and operating systems. And later on, you can watch videos of your tests. You can check what were for the errors of the test. You can see all of the Selenium commands with the particular JSON in order if you need to troubleshoot it. Also, you can, if you enable this, you can see the network traffic with all of the requests. This is sometimes helpful when you need to analyze the performance. You can see walks. What are the walks? These are complete walks of, as you know, Selenium is interacting with the browser through just through JSON protocol, right? And also you can download all of the screenshots and the videos. And the platform has integration with many, as you can see, with all major bug tracking software, project management, continuous integration and continuous deployment tools, communication channels, and all of that. So it's quite easy to integrate. And now it has a really, you can type lambda test configurator. The lambda test configurator is basically the thing that you need to, as you can see, it supports not only Java, but also C# and all major languages. And basically, this is the tool for helping you to generate these desired capabilities. We need them to, configure the driver to run directly in the cloud. Here is the also in the next video we're going to talk about geolocation. It's really powerful capability of running your tests in a specific country. This is especially important when you need to verify, for example, currencies and conversion rates and many others, or also checking the performance of your website. As I said, you can turn on the tunnel. You can check the network walks. You can run the test in a specific time zone. I turn on the video recording, and here I want to see the console walks. And you can, of course, right now we are working with Selenium 4. So here we have other stuff. Now, let's see how we can make our tests until now. If you recall the previous video, we were using this get driver start to initialize the browser. Here we use this factory method called start depending on the browser. In order to make it more simple, I'm just going to show you. We're going to create another class really fast. I'm going to name it to-do-test cloud, and then we'll have these private variables here. What else? We won't need to, right now the WebDriver manager to download the Chrome driver. Of course, I will need my test, right? Before showing you the initialization. So we have the teardown to close the session. You're already familiar with these private methods here that we use in our tests for the to-do application. We have our data-driven test for all of the technologies. And the main place where we need to initialize everything, again, you need to copy these desired capabilities and paste them, we are going to use the before each method. This means that this will run before each test. We're going to start a session. Then for now, here I'm going to run browser Chrome. Then we need the hash map. The hash map, in order to handle, for now, for the secrets, right now, I'm getting them through from environmental variables. That is called LT user from lambda test user, and then I need an access key. Here, this is the best way to keep them. Then we have build name. You can put whatever you want here. For example, first run in the cloud. This is the name of the build. In order to get the current test name, because they have this capability, we can use this test info object that comes from JUnit, and you can get here the test name. The test name, however, it will be distinct here. When you run data-driven test, there is another method called get display name. The display name is if you recall from the previous videos, we can get this, pretty formatted display name. And afterwards, I already copied the code from Lambda test documentation. It will be here. We have the platform name, the browser version, the console network visuals, the time zone. Then we're setting the AOT options. That's it. You need it only once. Then we need to format in a try catch. In a try catch, we're going to initialize the driver. We need to add it. Right now, we need to. Actually, we can remove this exception here. It's fine. We need first to format the URL. It is like first is the username, then the access key, then hook lambda test, and afterwards we need to provide this URL to remote WebDriver, and then we need to provide the capabilities. And of course, below it, we're going to initialize the WebDriver weight and the actions. That's it. That is everything that you need in order to run the tests in the cloud. We can, again, this is quite simple way of running them. However, if you want to mark your tests as passed or failed, we need to do other stuff. There is when you check the one Lambda test documentation, there is a capability for marking the test whether it failed or passed. Otherwise, you cannot figure out without communicating this to the platform. So if we need to upgrade our parallel solution, we now I'm going to create another method in our driver adapter here, and let me show you. Right now, as we discussed, I already refactored it so that I can quickly show you. I already created an overload of the start method where we are providing the test name, right? Where I'm mentioning again the browser, and by this browser, I'm getting the browser name. How I'm getting the browser name? Well, I upgraded the solution here. We can have here at a string and make it, in order to get the name. We can upgrade it like this here. Let me show you. Here we can have browser name. We can have browser. Here we'll have Chrome. We'll have Firefox, Edge, Opera, and then here you will have browser name. And now we upgraded the solution here so that we can provide the proper browser name. From the capabilities, if you don't want to hard code them, you can get browser get name. This is a fast way for not hard coding everything. Now, again, this is a special method where we are going to use it in our web test base class in the Здравейте. So we need to modify our web test class, and inside the initialize driver, we need to provide the name of the test. And also, because in a minute I'm going to show you how to create two extensions for JUnit 5. In order to do so, however, we will have to access our driver adapter. So I will mark this method as static, and also a static the driver adapter. Here we'll need to provide again info to the setup class, and we will get the display name through testinfo display name getter. And now let me show you what I meant by visualizing the exceptions. There is a really awesome article in the Lambda test documentation called View Assertions, Errors, and Lambda Test. As I said, if you want to see the proper error here, the exception, we need to basically execute this JavaScript code through WebDriver. We need to cast the current driver to JavaScript executor and provide the Lambda test exceptions, and then this exception capture, which is a list of all the exceptions that we want to display there. And there is a second thing here. You can find a complete example of it. In a minute, we're going to do it. In order to change the status, as I mentioned, we need to execute this driver execute script Lambda status, whether it's failed or success. So we are going to add this to our library as well. In order to do so, however, to integrate it properly and not put it inside every single class like this in AfterSuite and whatever, because this is just not maintainable, we are going to first create test results listener. This is a way of extending JUnit 5. I'm going to create a new class called test results listener. I'm going to add it to source control, and we need to implement a special JUnit 5 interface called after test execution callback. We need to implement the method here. We'll need just this after test execution context. So for now, I'm going to add a private variable, private static final thread local test result. These test results come from, as I said, from JUnit. Actually, it's not from JUnit, but we need to. It's our enum. where we mark whether it's success or failure. And well, we mentioned here whether the string, whether it's passed or failed. And here we will have in the test results listener, we will have the following logic. After we, not here, but above, and then we will have a simple if-else clause. Here, this will be the context. And of course, we will need to extend our get driver adapter to have this execute script method. But basically what we do, first we check whether there is exception. If there is an exception, we mark the current result for the current thread, current process, whether it's a failure or not. And then we're executing the script, whether it was success or a failure. As I said, we need to extend the driver adapter, and I'm going to create a simple execute script method at the bottom. As we mentioned and discussed before, this is a pattern where we are wrapping WebDriver, we are changing the public API or how we access the methods, what are the names, what are the properties. And here I added this execute script where we provide the script, and then we can add as many arguments as we want afterwards. And we are casting it, the current WebDriver, we are getting it from the thread safe container through the get method. And we are executing the script. This is the first way how we can, as I said, add whether the test was successful or not. In order to use this extension, we can put it on top of particular class here that we have tests. However, since we have a base test class, I just need to put it here, and we use the notation extend suite, and we mention the name of the class.class, right? That's it, everything that you need. And the second thing about the proper way of getting the exception, there is another extension that we can create. I'm going to name this test results logger extension. Again, this is another capability of JUnit to extend the execution of the tests. And I'm going to implement two interfaces, test watcher and after callback. And directly I'm going to paste the code and explain it. The method that we are interested in is called test failed, but basically you can execute logic on test success, test aborted, test disabled. For example, if you want to save a screenshot or a video on failure, if you have started some kind of a recording on a local execution and you're not running tests in the cloud, then your custom video recorder again can save the videos here and analyze what happened. For our purposes right now, to integrate with Lambda tests and add the exceptions, here basically here we get the exception. First, we create an array list of all the exceptions, and we add these calls from the throwable class to get the exception message. And then we just call our get driver. As you can see here, I statically imported the web test get driver so that I can no more need to refer to it like this, web test.get driver, because this is a static class. We can statically import it above, and then I execute the script lambda / exceptions, and then add the list of all the exceptions or messages, and they will be added automatically to the screen, which is really great. And then if I want to integrate this into the whole execution, again, we go to the web test base class and use it through extend with annotation. And depending on your subscription, you can run your tests in parallel in many threads the platform supported. You can run it directly as we did in the last video. So I suggest you to check the platform. It's really awesome. You can check it for free. You can find links at the bottom. Next time, we are going to talk about geolocation testing. It will be really interesting, so don't miss it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Check the land test blog. And also, if you have questions, comments, put them at the bottom, or you can type it in LinkedIn or GitHub. And don't forget to get your free certification about JUnit and Selenium. Just follow the link here. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.